If you give up, you're just like everyone else. Chris Evert. My friends, we see everything down for the day. Not a big down market over the course of the day, but things are slacking off. Let's start first with the S&P 500. We see that over the last few days, things have run up, slid sideways, popped up again, and sort of sliding sideways down a little bit over the course of the day on Monday after that big bump up on Friday. S&P down 0.38%. Now we see here we are green on the STC. It's made its way all the way to the top. Hopefully, we'll see things arcing down at some point here in the future. Why? We're below the 200 EMA. That's this gold band up here, exponential moving average on the half-day chart, and we're waiting for things to rotate over going down. So that is what we are waiting for to take a short position. That is to jump into something like SH, which is the inverse of the S&P 500, or a put. When the market rolls back over, you might say, okay, if the market rolls back over, if we look at the two-day chart, you can see that we have two up candles, again, topping out about the same spot. The STC is, of course, negative on the two-day. That gives us 4 points on the success multiplier formula. 10 points come from the weekly, and of course, it's been red for quite a while, still red, showing some green this week. Again, not penetrated that 200 EMA on the weekly chart, so we're at a negative 14 when it comes to the success multiplier formula, which is nothing but a weighted wave. It shows you what's going on the two bigger waves. The half day is our smallest wave, the two-day is the intermediate, and the weekly is the big wave. And of course, the weekly and the two-day are negative. The only one that's moving up is this half day. So overall, lots of downward pressure. We will see where the market goes. Could it take off and just run up and all of a sudden new bull market takes off? Well, that's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. So we're waiting for a potential short position to present itself. If it does, we'll jump in. If it doesn't, that's fine. We got other things to trade. We let the charts show us what to do. 2-hour success, 4-hour success. We can't make the market do as much as we would like to make it do what we want it to do. We just can't do it. Now, let's move on. Very similar position is the Qs. It is down a little more for the day, 0.73%. Big bump up on Friday, and then, of course, staving that off on Monday. At the top, when we look at the STC on this half-day chart, the weekly and the two-day, we can check those out. You can see the two-day did cross over on this, actually this latest candle, moving up a little bit higher than the prior two-day candle. Again, so much of that is from that Friday bump up, but we will keep an eye on things and see which direction that ends up going, but it is heading up. And we look at the weekly, it is still down, so we're a negative 10 on the success multiplier formula. The two-day and the half-day are green, and we'll see which way the NASDAQ 100 goes. Is it going to roll over like it did before and head down and give us an opportunity to short the market, as it did quite nicely with a 5.03% return over the course of just a couple of days? That was beautiful. What is that, 2.5 days, I believe there? 3 days? Yeah, 3 days altogether. 2.5, 3 days. That was beautiful. So we'll see. Hasn't happened yet. May not happen. Again, when we look at this half-day chart, you can see we're well below the 200 EMA. So we'll keep the powder dry, see which way these charts tell us to trade. Let's move on out of stocks to bonds. And of course, we have 2 days of down movement on bonds. STC is still green. We look at the two-day chart on bonds. It, of course, is going green here. Had been heading down, so that's up. We look at the weekly, and the weekly still has lots of downward pressure, so we're negative 10 on that with the two-day and the half-day chart in the green. And we'll see which way bonds end up going. They were down again for the day 0.85%. And of course, when we look at the 200 EMA on that half-day chart, you can see we are well below that. On the 2-day chart, we are well below the 200 EMA, and even on the weekly chart, we're well below the 200 EMA. So lots of downward pressure when it comes to just where we are on the EMAs on bonds. But like we said, the half-day and the 2-day are green. So we'll see how things move along there. Again, not a whole lot happening yet. Things are shaping up though. Something will be happening. What about gold? We initiated a practice trade on gold when things not super exciting, but it is moving in the right direction. We jumped in on Friday afternoon when things rolled over, and we see gold red spinning top in the morning, down some in the afternoon, but again, just a little below the starting position. We'll see how this trade does. You can see that last practice trade in gold did not work, down for 2 days, day and a half, and then popped back up on us. So we'll keep an eye on things. It is below the 200 EMA. We look at the 2-day, where is that? That is in the red. Again, the wick on the bottom of that latest candle piercing the 200 EMA on the 2-day chart. Where are we on the weekly? Weekly is red on the STC. And of course, we are well above the 200 EMA on that weekly chart. So we'll see how this practice trade goes for us. Figured we would pull the trigger on that since it gave us an opportunity, and see how it goes. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin, down again 2.13%. We look at Bitcoin overall, and we've just got lots of downward pressure because of all that downward pressure on Bitcoin. And because of this sideways sliding, we're not putting any kind of trust into the STC here. You can see where it was in the green as it slid sideways. We talk about this when we see this kind of action for something like the MACD, which is the STC is a combination of the MACD and stochastics. MACD, moving average convergence divergence indicator. You have to have price moving. All you have here is price sliding sideways. That is where you get these sloppy signals. Bitcoin then, of course, did stroke down rather largely and then started sliding sideways again. Not a whole lot to back up anything that you see here on just this one chart. When, of course, you look at the 2-day, lots and lots of downward pressure. You look at the weekly, lots and lots of downward pressure as, Bitcoin has just surged down and down and down over many weeks. We are waiting to see when there is a recovery. I don't want to say if. I feel like at some point Bitcoin will make some kind of recovery, but on the 24-hour Bitcoin chart, you can see where over the last 3 weeks, it's actually moved down through the 200 EMA. The chart that we were showing you earlier is XBTC. That is the Van Eck ETF of Bitcoin. It is a Bitcoin futures ETF. And I just screwed up one of my charts there. I'm going to have to be careful. I don't want to I drug that around, so I'll go back before I save this and make sure to fix that. Anyway, that is where we are at the end of the day on Monday. I just have a feeling this week might be very interesting as it moves along. We so appreciate you being with us. As always, you have questions, problems, concerns, we love to hear from you. How do you get to us? You simply email us, cw@chartingwealth.com, or add a comment there on the YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber at chartingwealth.com, that means you don't get our daily trainings. We have a great daily training for our subscribers today. Make sure to take those every day, 10 to 15 minutes. That's all we ask, my friends. Thank you so much for Patreon support. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.